Yeah, cooking method, not the NAP number. The NAP number is going to show up on your written. So make sure you know like the rib, export rib, and all that other crap. There you go. Alright, so you have to fit. Alright, so number 1, bone out pork loin. You guys should remember doing this. You guys took it off with the baby back ribs and the chine burger and feather bones. So pork has a really distinctive color. It can be easily confused with veal, but nothing. We're not going to get anything like this in veal, and other than the fact that it says boneless pork loin. Excuse the nail polish. I'm totally not adjusting, but I rolled out of bed this morning. Sorry. All right. So cooking method for this is dry. You can either turn it into cutlets. You can hand fry it. You can saute it. Anyway. Any questions? No? We all know that this is bone out pork loin. Make sure you specify that it's bone out. Number 2, beef brisket. Just in case you needed to know, the NAP number is 120. You probably don't need to know that. Cooking method for this, you can either, it can be wet or dry. You can do either one. This one I would use barbecue. It's really good for like pastrami, anything low and slow, smoking it, and then like slow heat. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can do both. But pastrami is usually the number 1 cooking method for this, or dish that it's used in. But I would go something low and slow, dry, very, very low, like barbecue. Any questions? The way that I can tell it's a brisket, it tapers down into one end, right? It's a little thinner here than it is here. Kind of looks like a diver's fin, like the scuba fin. So that's a good way to tell. If you turn it upside down, there's always a really thick, like fat area, and it's always going to be on one of the sides, depending on the side of the animal that it came from. It's either on the far right or on the far left. Cool? Alright. Number 3, beef skirt steaks. NAP number is 121C. You have to be over 21 to see under her skirt. That's the way I remember it. There's 4 in a package, so don't be confused. It's not 1. And don't confuse it with hanger or Pismos. The skirt steak has 4 in here, and if you can tell, like, if you can see this one, it's really thin, it's long, and a lot of the times they fold it up on the corners, which makes it easily confusable with like Pismos and all that other crap. But it has a membrane on both sides of the skirt, whereas the Pismo only has a thin membrane on one side and doesn't even cover the entire Pismo. So cooking method for this is going to be dry. You're either going to like flash it on the grill. It's really good for like fajitas and stuff like that, or you're not going to roast it or anything, but it's definitely going to be somewhere on the grill or saute side. Cool? 121C.
The brisket's 120?
120.
No, 121C is skirt steak. Brisket is just 120.
Alright, so the next one is beef short ribs. There's 4 plates. That's these things right here. One of these is a plate. There's 4 plates in a package. Occasionally I'll just pull out 1 plate, you know, because I find it easier than to do 4. But just remember that there's 3 bones in a short rib, and the NAP number just so happens to be 1, 2, 3. And this is always going to be braising. Always. Actually, no.
No,
sorry.
what if you do? What if
Korean
it's
style barbecue.
I was about to ask that.
You guys are here for exceptions. Alright, but
What?
for chef's purposes, because he likes to just tell me tell you the straight up thing, I'm going to tell you as a cook, yes, you can do dry on it, but I wouldn't. I've made plate pastrami out of it, where I take out the bones, I smoke it for like 20 hours, and then I hit it in the oven, and I didn't have to put any liquid in it at all. But for the purposes of this exam, braising oven. Cool?
I'm not going to say it was seriously.
You're right, Korean barbecue is dry. But it's so thin that you don't really cook it that much. That's why it's okay. Alright, so the number 5 is a, what is it?
Sport rib.
There you go. Perfect. Well, how do you know that?
Because there's a big hole and it's dry.
There's a big hole and it's dry. So if I pulled out a dry aged strip loin, did you know the difference?
Probably, because